Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone is having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had a great trading day yesterday to start off the week. And let's get into it. Norm, how you doing this morning?
Hey, good. Good morning, Carlos. How about yourself? You
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
there?
Yep, now I got you. Perfect.
All right, I'm doing well. How about yourself, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Uh, let,
Good.
let's get into it, guys. So we had a pretty busy day yesterday. A lot going on, a lot of movers for a Monday. So let's get into our top place and highlights right in here. We'll see how these stocks traded. Then we'll go into our gappers list. I already see BPTH right on here, so that we'll see that's going on with that one. And then Nasdaq active Nasdaq gainers, and then we'll see what you guys have in your watch list today. So we'll check both chats, our main chat and also our YouTube chat, which I have to bring up here. Here we go. All right, excellent. All right, got that up. All right, guys, so let's get started. So first on this list, we have GLPG. So GLPG yesterday was gapping a lot, but I didn't like the way it was trading. So let's look how it traded here. If we go in here, again, it looks good now, but the price action wasn't really clean for me. Big drop here, nice open range breakdown. You can see you could do it. You could, if you had it by the body, it would have been great. By the wicks, you probably would have missed a good entry. And the risk to reward was not great, right? Because you gotta look at VWAP and the wick is all the way down here, so it's a bit extended. So usually that's why I like to take the open range breakdown based on the body. And you know, because if you get in around this area here, this is a big pullback, so you gotta be very careful with that. So that was a trade yesterday. Again, I didn't really watch the price action on this one. It did look like it dropped nicely to this level here that we had around 169.20. That must have been a daily level we went back on. Then it just kind of chopped around the VWAP, not giving you much activity for the rest of the morning. Really just being pretty choppy. I'm not sure how I traded the rest of the day. Let's take a look at here. Looks like yeah, it's just choppy almost the entire day. Besides this one drop here, you really didn't get much out of this. All right, let's go CRCO. This one was amazing. A lot of us took a short on this one. Again, it was just traded very, very well. Let's look into his opening range breakdown. So you have this. First, you have this is what we call here an engulfing crack. So you have the first candle where it's a green candle. It could be a red candle. And then the next one completely engulfs the previous candle, right? I mean, just completely taking it over. What I like about this trade that it was right at VWAP. So it gives us a beautiful entry for short. Look at this pullback here. Two ways you could got into. You could have got in here or you could have waited for the pullback. Either ones are good, perfect entries. We teach this in our class. As you can see here on the pullback, you get in for a short towards the crack of this low here, or if you got in here, you get in with your stop loss slightly above the VWAP. Turned out to be nice. Went all the way down here, found a level of support eventually, and then just started to come up nicely towards the VWAP. But again, it's a beautiful trade towards the downside. A lot of you guys took this trade short. Here we have City again, just sold off real nice, sold off the bat. This could have been a good 2-minute opening range breakdown. I did not trade this one, but this one came all the way down here. Then you had this weird candle, nice little bounce, and then from there it just kind of gave you a reversal back to VWAP, but not an easy one to catch because again, it just wasn't clean. I like the clean double bottoms. You didn't quite get that one here. What you could have looked for was it did not make a newer low on the 5, right? So as it's coming back down to make your double bottom, it doesn't make a new low. It starts consolidating and then it heads up towards VWAP, and then from here it just takes off right towards the high of the day. So if you were looking for this reversal, this could have been a good trade. Facebook also drops down nice and then gives you this nice pullback here, then reverses. This is not an easy trade to take, and it actually is pretty choppy here, so you want to be careful because again, you have all this volume here, comes right back up. You don't know if that's going to be a continuation, because usually what happens is a lot of people get faked out when you get this pullback here. You could think it's going to be a good open range breakdown, but in this case, it never comes back down. You would have been stopped out. And then you don't want to go long right away here because if you tend to flip your position like that, you know, look what happens. You get stopped out again. So you want to be very careful in flipping positions back and forth. Teva was great short, didn't move much, but look at this opening range breakdown as well. I took it on this candle here. I didn't catch the 5-minute, but when it pulled back here to VWAP and it started selling back down, that's when I got in short. Then it gives this beautiful drop all the way down here. Nice drop there. Then pulls back a bit, another drop here to 830, and then from there it just became very choppy. I took the rest out here. I didn't have much left after that. Does come back and test this 830-ish level again. Then from there, I believe it bounced even higher. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, but it bounced all the way up to VWAP here. Kept going a little higher, but didn't really get going. That could have been a good reversal as well. Symantec also was very active, a lot of volume, but guys, just very choppy. After it did this thing in the morning, right, we had this around 9 o'clock or so, some news broke out. You had this huge drop here. And if we zoom in here, you was able to take this for long here. Andrew took this for long and got some couple of cents out of this. But again, then from there, it just became very choppy, not really giving you any move for the entire day until it starts selling off around 1 o'clock or so. But again, just really choppy the entire morning. And these moves were not as clean. This is almost an engulfing crack, guys. This is the opposite, right? What we saw on CRCO. This is not as clean. You have the drop here, right? Then on the way back, this candle almost engulfs it, right? At least when it was here, it was engulfing the previous candle. That's usually a good signal for reversal. If you had a good entry here, you could have went towards the high of the day and taken some out around this moving average there. CAPR was very active, guys. Look at the pre-market action on this one. A lot of traders took this short. There was units available for short with a lot of brokers. Actually, IB didn't have it, but CMEC did have shorts. A lot of people got short within this area here, and it drops down nicely towards the moving averages here. Then you get this crazy squeeze here, and then from there it just starts following this moving average. It is on our gappers list today, down 4.5, so we'll take a look at that in a sec. So that was the top plays and highlights from yesterday, guys. Let's look into what's going on with the SPY and the news today.
Yeah, Carlos. I mean, SPY is relatively flat. It's up, 0.04%. So tiny amount, relatively flat, I'd call it. Slow economic data just came out. Retail sales were higher than expected. And I'm waiting to try to find a couple of the others. As we discussed yesterday, earnings season has essentially started. We had a number of both money center and investment banks reporting. I will save going through the list on those because some will end up on the gappers and some will call out JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, and such. We'll discuss those in a few minutes. And what else do we have going on today? A couple of other pieces of economic data are coming out later, such as industrial production, business inventories, home builders index, and then Jerome Powell will be speaking at 1 p.m. Eastern as well. So lots going on today, despite summer.
Okay, excellent. All right, folks, so let's get into this list. We'll start over with our gappers list and see what's going on there, and then we'll move over to our top list here in the Dash Trader Pro platform. So let's make some columns in here, and let's start with the first one we see, BPTH. This is a very low flow stock.
Your buddy.
Yeah, my buddy. Yeah, I got a good experience with that one. Since then, I have not traded low floats. I mean, this was one of those things where it was just pure luck, to be honest. So BPTH, as you can see, guys, right now it is up 11.6. Not much volume though. Only 144,000 shares. This thing is not really in play. I think it's just the gap, the pop that's causing it to pop up here. And then look at the pre-market action. It doesn't look clean at all. Definitely not trading like a CAPR was yesterday. So again, just not clean at all. Another low flow stock. We'll throw this one on here. Go ahead.
They had BPTH had analysts initiate coverage on them with the price target at 28. So that's what's causing that pop this morning.
Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, this is the one that went up to 80s. It's just craziness. So right now they're not doing much. We'll keep it on here, see if the activity gets a little better. And then next one here we have CAPR. CAPR is dropping down. Let's remove some of these levels, get some fresh ones. As you can see here, down 5.8. Looks like CMEC does not have shares for short today. Not sure if IB does. But again, not much activity when it comes to the pre-market action. Only 128,000 shares traded. And you want to be careful on a follow-up day. A follow-up day can go so many different directions, so many different fake outs. So be very careful. If you traded this yesterday, make some good money on the way down or on the way up, keep that in your pocket. Do not give it back today. Yesterday was the day that it looked like there was several opportunities. If we just go back into it here, if you trade in the pre-market, if that's one of your criteria, you had a good take off here, you had a good pop, a good, nice scalp here if you were looking for that. And then if you're looking for a sell-off, if you're one of person that can one of those people that can take a short on something like this, you made out as well. Consolidation, then the pop, right? So today's not a day to get greedy and try to scalp more out of this. Be very careful. Look at the volume yesterday. Not sure if we're going to get that type of volume today. So far this morning, not looking too great. All right, next we have DPZ. So DPC is not a low float, 40 million shares float. This one is down 7.7. Looks like we traded in the past because I do have some levels in here. I'm going to remove those. We'll get some fresh ones in a sec. 123,000 shares traded so far, but man, look at this pre-market action. Just doesn't look great. So this is Domino's Pizza. Any news on these guys? Is this earnings report today?
Yeah, they released earnings this morning, and they were unimpressive to say the least. So,
gotcha. People are going to Beyond the Meat. That's probably what it is. Look at Beyond the Meat. See what's going on there.
oh God, I hope not.
So Beyond the Meat not doing much today. But going back to DPZ, what I like about the daily chart here, again, this is not doesn't look like it trades clean. I never traded it, but we actually did look at it before in the pre-market show. It's got a nice level here that it just broke through, right? Look at this level here. So that 270 has been a good support over the last couple of months, and you can see now here it's been broke down from that, and it's probably hitting the next level we have here. So that's probably the best thing it's got going on right now. It needs better volume. It is a nicey stock, so usually the pre-market action tends to be a little horrible. So we'll come back to this, see if it gets any better. All right, guys, let's get into our NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers. On this list here, we'll go over the top 10 on both sides to see what we can find something else. TRNX, as we know, guys, penny stock. We'll skip that one. CGIX, also penny stock. Bypass TNXP as well. IMRN, this is not a penny stock. It's trading more around the $6 range. Has dipped as low as $2 here. It has some volume on this day with some weird candles, so that's interesting. This morning, pre-market action is all right. Let's see what the flow is on this one. IMRN. 295, so 2.95 million shares flow. We'll throw it on here next to BPH and CAPR. IMRN. Pre-market action is probably the best one this morning out of the low flows players. So this is looking a lot better. Some good volume. 1 million shares traded so far. If we look at the daily, and let's go back and see if we can find some days with volume. Not a lot of days with a lot of volume besides this one here. So not a lot of days. Very nasty chart here, as you can see, guys. It has been up to the $8 before. I have the pre-market at $7.39, but again, I'm not seeing a lot of volume on this one. Norm, anything making this thing run up today?
I have not seen it yet, but I have not looked into this one, so somebody out there probably knows.
Excellent. Okay, cool, guys. If you know something, let us know. But again, this is a low flow stock, so usually what's out doesn't really matter. You got to be very careful and manage your risk here. SLS, penny stock, we'll skip this one. FCLE, also, these ones are always in our list, right? So we're going to go through them really quick. TRNX, TNXP, these are all penny stock, do not trade very well. They tend to be up here more often than others. GNMX, penny stock as well. AMD, see what, let's look at how AMD traded yesterday. Daily chart looks very, very good. Looks like it got towards the high of this one here. I didn't have AMD on my list yesterday, but it looks like it had a really good day. Let's zoom into the daily, the intraday action. All right, not bad. Nice little trend trade here, right? A little choppy at the open. It settled in. Kind of what we talked about yesterday as well. AMD and MU, there's some days that they just take off and you cannot catch them. You chase them and you could get caught in a drop or a squeeze. But there's some days where they, most often than not, they tend to open very choppy, and then when they settle in, they give you a nice trade. I mean, after this choppiness here, it settles in, and this is a good indication also of a strong stock, right? It comes back down. The sellers try to push it down, they can't, and then they push right back up. And you can see tests the moving average, and it just takes off from there. So again, a good trend trade here after it settles in. This morning so far, pre-market action little more active than it was yesterday. 454,000 shares traded. And since I don't have a lot like we did here, remember yesterday we had tons of stuff here that was actually looking pretty good. CRCO, Teva, those traded pretty well. Today I will add AMD because I don't have a lot going on there. And AMD's it's got some good volume so far. And I love the daily chart here. We're hitting this resistance that we broke out of yesterday. It could be a good opportunity for a short here. People are probably going to be taking profits. So we'll definitely watch AMD. QTT, 286,000 shares up, 9.5. I don't recall ever looking at this one. Oh, we did when it was higher. Yeah, pre-market action is not looking great, guys. Yes, it does have some volume here. 150 sitting just on this one candle here, just at the moment. but it's not looking great. I also do not have shares for short. And look at the daily. The daily team seems very, very choppy. We're back down towards this levels here that we've been holding for some time here, a couple of days before we had this squeeze, and then right back down. Again, so not sure on this one. We can, and what's the float on this, by the way? QTT. Yeah, it's not a low flow stock because we traded it before. I think we looked at it during this day. All right, we'll keep it on here. We'll come back to it. Then we have NASDAQ ETF. Next up here, we have IMRN, low flow stock that looks the cleanest today. It's already down here. GSUM, horrible daily, guys. Look at the daily here. It's just very choppy, nothing clean about it. It is popping up today at 15%, but no volume here, so we'll skip it. BPTH, we already discussed. So we'll see what we get out of that. TRCH. TRCH has an interesting daily chart here, but again, no volume. Has a nice little pop here above 1, but not much going on volume-wise. MLNT, looks like we looked at it in the past. What's the float on this one? 150,000 shares traded, a little bit on the lower flow side. 8 million shares float. But again, just the pre-market access not looking great, although it has 156,000 shares traded, not looking great at all. Next, we have MLND. This one here, no activity, no action. Perry, not much going on. And then last one here on this list, actually two more, JB Hunt, JBHT. This one was active yesterday. Wow, gapping up 7.6 today. So this was on our list yesterday. I forgot what was the reason for it, but it's gapping up quite a bit. Do we have any news on this one? I know this one doesn't trade very well, Norm. We talked about it before.
Yeah, they had earnings, I believe.
All right,
so it was yesterday, so yeah, they beat earnings.
All right, this could be worth taking a look at. It is up 7.6. Not a lot of volume right now. Actually, pretty dead. But let's see how this develops.
Like you said, it can be tough.
Yeah,
it's not the best trading stock I've ever traded.
Yep. Daily does look interesting though, because you have this nice area of support here, then resistance that we just cracked out of, and then this is another clean level. Zoom out just a bit more, right in here as well, where the right below where the price action is, or right on it. So could be interesting. You got a moving average coming in down here as well, so it could be interesting how this plays out today. It could be a good one for us to put some levels on here and then wait for it to hit our scanners if it does decide to trade one way or the other.
Like Kurt was saying right there, so it trades tough. A big part of the reason for that is it really isn't a heavily traded stock. I mean, when we trade AMD, a lot of times you'll see it'll hit, 100 million shares traded in a day. JB Hunt trades just over 1 million on average. So
yeah,
it makes it a little bit tougher to trade.
Yeah, we as day traders, we need that volume for sure. EYEN, not much going on here. No volume at all, guys. So that is our list so far, guys. Let's look into see what you guys have, and then after we do that, we'll get into some announcements. Yeah, let's look at what you have, Norm.
Carlos, JPM and GS both reported earnings this morning.
All right, nice.
And then Tesla is also, my guess is Tesla will probably hit the gappers here in a little bit.
All right, excellent. Tesla, we'll throw that on here. All right, good. So
J&J, like David's saying, J&J reported this morning too. As of now, it's not really moving much. They've got so much background noise going on with their, talcum powder cancer problems that I don't know if it'll be worth anything. But that's another one maybe to keep an eye on later.
Yeah, it looks like on Friday we had a nice little drop here. Right, this was Friday, Monday, Friday. Yeah, just Friday we had a big drop there. So we'll see what comes out of that. It looks great for a short. I don't have no short bias, but this thing looks like it wants to drop down towards this 132, possibly some of these levels all the way down here, but no bias, guys. We've seen how that can work out. All right, excellent. So we'll take a look at those. We'll find levels. What else you guys have? How your top 4 looking this morning, Norm? Anything exciting out of that group?
No, not particularly. Nobody's up even more than 0.5% up or down, so nobody's broken 100,000 shares of volume either. I'll keep an eye on it, see if anything develops in the next 40 minutes before we open.
Excellent. All right, so let's go over into some of these. We have MPW here. So MPW, I see the drop 4.2, 2.4 million shares traded so far. I'm just gonna look and check what is the float on this one. It's a really large float, 390. So with such a large float like that, stocks tend not to move quite often. This ATR is very small. The reason why it's not showing up here is 40 cents ATR. They are gapping down today, right? They're down 4.3. Just not sure how much we're going to get out of this. The daily chart looks a little wacky, but you do have some levels that you can definitely pinpoint out of here. You got one right on there. You got another one right in here where the price action is at. So this might be worth taking a look at. Pre-market action right now is just not clean though. I never traded this stock before, so I don't know how it trades. But this one is not looking too clean.
So that's
Go ahead.
Just a heads up, Carlos. That's a REIT.
Oh, it is.
So a lot of times REITs are not really tradable. Not in play.
Yeah, no. So that makes sense. They don't really move much, guys. And just look at the volume, 2.4. And when you look in here, it's just not looking great. So yeah, I'm gonna skip that one unless it hits our scanner, something crazy happens, and you get a nice big drop. We'll skip it for now. All right, what else, guys? What else we have? So we have Tesla. Yep, we have that one. WFC. Let's take a look at here. WFC, we have looked at this one before in the past. I see some levels on here. West Fargo. There's another one. The banks are really tough to trade. I have a really hard time trading banks. Citigroup, Bank of America. They just don't trade as clean. Don't know why. But this one today is not doing much right now as far as percentage. It does have volume, 253,000 shares traded. But just look at this pre-market action. It's just not looking all that clean. So I agree, Dave, well, you're not a fan of this one just yet, at least. So we'll keep an eye on it for our scanners, but right now not looking too great. Yep, JB Hunt we do have, guys. JBHT is right on here, so we'll get some levels for that one. Let's look at Roku. All right, so Roku right now, not much going on. Just like Norm mentioned, out of his top four, not a lot of activity happening at the moment. What else we have, guys? So did I miss anything else? I think that is it, unless anybody, NVIDIA. Let's look at NVIDIA. Yep, same here, guys.
NVIDIA's kind of forming a wedge on the daily there. It's starting out. See what it does.
Yep. You do have a nice daily on NVIDIA, I gotta say, and you're hitting this level again right on there with the previous day closes right on. I mean, that's a very interesting level. We cracked out of it a few days ago, and we're back to it. So again, it's very interesting daily on NVIDIA. But right now, not doing much, guys. We'll watch for this one to hit our scanners, and then we'll take a look at it. And I'm sure Norm will be watching it, so if he sees something, he'll call it out for us as well. Okay, let's look at MU, and then we'll get into some announcements. And then we'll get into some levels. So MU here at the moment not doing much volume, which is typically normal for MU. Daily looks good, but right now I like AMD better. So we'll see. We'll throw it on here, but AMD is definitely one that's trading a lot better this morning. Let's just go back to it. Yeah, and the daily chart looks really nice on AMD. All right, excellent, guys. Let's get into some announcements, Norm, and then we'll start finding some levels.
Yeah, so tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to have both the workshop Wednesday with Carlos discussing probabilities. What's the technical title? I don't have it with me. It's
trading in probabilities. Yep.
Trading in probabilities with Carlos at noon in the classroom. Keep in mind the chat room will still be open. You can have both open if you want. And those have really been popular recently, so I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Also, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, William's going to be doing his second aftermarket trade reviews. So take a screenshot of your 1 and 5 minute charts to be able to submit it to him. Once again, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Our next in our YouTube and now Facebook Live Ask Me Anything is going to have William and Eamon. That will be Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then the next Lifetime webinar is going to be July 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern as well. So what is that, a week from Thursday? July 26th, actually we're going to soon have our podcast or conversation with Dr. Brett Steenbarger. Please see the forum post to post your questions. We're trying to get everything in order so he can discuss as much as possible and not just be bombarded. So be sure to put your questions in there for him in the forum post that Abiel has posted in the alerts above. Pasadena, or else how am I supposed to pronounce this, Carlos? Pasadena meetup, July 27th. Love him, and that's why we make fun of his accent.
Absolutely.
Phoenix meetup is August 2nd, so that should be a great meetup as well. You don't have to be a member to attend these. And I'm trying to think anything else that I can. Anything else I'm missing, Carlos?
No, I think that is all. Yep, I think that is all.
All right,
excellent, guys. So let's get into this list. Let's find some levels. Let's see what's looking better, what's looking uglier, and we'll take those out. So let's start with PDZ over here. So Domino's Pizza. Again, just crappy daily chart. Not really anything exciting about this here, except this drop here, leaving this 270 level. That's been a good support for the last couple of months, really, since May. So that's the only thing good about it. Let's mark some levels, and then we'll decide if we're actually going to watch this later on. Let's see how everything else develops. 248, low of the pre-market. You can see that 248 acting as a somewhat of a support. Even this nasty daily chart here, you have some days kind of bouncing off this 247. 89. You can see that right on there. Below that, another clean level will be this 245, and then you have another one all the way down here, very clean at 239.55. Right, so those are your levels towards the bottom of the price action. Towards the top, very clean one right here. You can clearly see that 261, and I'll show you. You got 1, 2, 3 days bouncing off of that, heading right back down to this 247, which is the low of the pre-market. Does all this stuff here, then it comes right back to it again, testing it. Goes back down, and then one more time testing it. As we mentioned before, guys, the more a level is tested, the stronger that level support or resistance can be. So you can see here 261, 68, almost very close to all these levels on here. You got some moving averages as well, so that's good. Then towards the top, you have really the previous day close is going to be a huge level there, because you can see how over the last couple of months, really, it's been bouncing off of that. In between there, I could see there's 2 days that broke out of this 270, this previous day close at 265.20. So I'm just going to mark that down, because you got 2 days on here that broke out of that, and they went right down to that level and then bounced right back, right? So you can see how strong that actually makes the 270 level very strong. Norm, you and I talked about this before. When you have candles like this that come right back up above that level that's been holding for a while, it just makes this level a lot stronger. It kind of tells people, hey, we're not going to stay below this price level 270, right? So be on the lookout for those two. Right now, pre-market action, guys, is not looking great, but this is a nicey stock. So they tend to have that type of open. It is a higher price stock, 258, really not what I like in my criteria. So if I find something better within my price range that I prefer, I will take this one out and keep that one. Let's go over to AMD. So AMD right now, we got several levels. I'm going to remove the one we have there. But towards the top, you got the previous day close, and then you got the high of yesterday, which is very close to the high of a couple of days ago. And I believe this is all-time high, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to scroll all the way back if I don't need to. But I believe this is it. And then towards the bottom, I am going to mark, instead of the pre-market low, I'm going to mark this one here, 3402, because the pre-market low could be broken here and change any minute. This 3402, you got several levels that had some resistance right on there before they dropped down and came back to break that resistance. So mark that down. Then below that, you have plenty, guys, highs and low from yesterday's. Got a moving average coming in here as well from the last 2 days. So that's good. And then another moving average also here. I don't think we'll drop this much, but we'll have to see how this one plays out. Again, daily looks very, very strong. Really had a nice little pop, came back down, kind of double bottom, not quite because it went lower, and then just rise nicely this moving average towards the top, making some all-time highs. Simmer, so it was higher, 206 and 2000. Okay, so 52-week high. All right, so pre-market action looks okay, not great. It's just pretty choppy. Look at these candles. All right, it's just not looking really good at the moment, but that's AMD is going to get the volume, so that's not worry about that. QTT right now, let's get some levels for this one here. Doesn't look like it moves much, right? It's been very choppy. Look at this daily chart, but I want to be ready for it in case it does something. When it does get volume, look at the difference in volume here. You do have a possible run. Now, this is not a big move though, guys, right? We're going from $4 to 40 cents the entire day. That's not huge, but it is a lower price stock, so you can take a little more share size. But the key is manage your risk, right? Your risk has to be set, and we'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow in our Wednesday workshop as well. It is about trading in probabilities, but risk is a big part of trading in probability. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. So not sure about this one, guys. I have my levels on there, but I might remove it because the pre-market action doesn't look great. I don't have shares for sure on top of that. I like to have something that can play both ways. So we'll see. JBHT, this one is popping up nicely, 7%. Volume is still very low. We're going to put some levels on here. Not sure if we're going to keep this one. Looks like we might be getting some activity now. So high of the pre-market 150. That's $100.50. And then the low of the pre-market 98.70. You can see the low of the pre-market, how it's right on this areas of resistance back in May and May and April. So that's a good area there. Towards the bottom, we have another great support here coming up at a 96.48. Very clean, comes right back down. Look at that nice reversal back up. And then on the way back down again, we tested one more time twice before we actually break down and head down towards the next level. Then on the way up, usually, support becomes resistance. And you can see here how that becomes resistance and resistance up here as well. Towards the top, we have one level right here around 102.92. You have a clean area here where you come up, come back down, test it, and then head back up. And then you also have several days here where after we broke out of that, I used it as support. Once it broke that, then you can see a nice drop all the way down to the next level of 147 cents. All right. So again, pre-market action not looking great, guys. Only 52,000 shares traded. This might not make my list today. Here's MU. So MU, I will be watching because right now it looks like some of the ones we have here don't look great volume wise, pre-market action wise. So they're probably not going to make the cut. So MU here is right in the middle of several levels. We have previous day close towards the top. You got the high from 2 days ago, the high from yesterday, low from yesterday, low from 2 days ago. Don't need to add any more within this area, right? Some people might want to get too technical and say, oh, I want to mark down the high of the pre-market right here, but it's so close to this. I don't want to get this too congested, right? So let's find some levels outside of this range. If we can break out of that today, will be nice. So you have one right here at around 42, 48. I like this one because you got this day confirming, and also you have a moving average coming in there as well. So I like that. Towards the top, if we do have enough power to even get above that 45-ish area up there. When's the last time we've been there? Looks like back in October, September timeframe. Yeah, we're just gonna mark this one down, 46, 44. Again, looking at the daily, I don't think we're gonna get to either 42 or 46. We need a really big move to make that happen. But we'll see. We have our levels just in case. JP Morgan. So JP Morgan, now it's got a good pre-market action. See, this is what I'm talking about now. So we got something going here. We got some nice steady volume coming in. 862,000 shares, 870 now. All right, this is good. So low of the pre-market sitting at 101.50, 111.50 cents. And then here we're sitting right on some levels. Previous day close, the price action is right in between that now. So towards the bottom, this daily chart doesn't look great. So I'm going to have a hard time finding levels already. And that's what happens. This is why we usually like to find a good daily chart so we can find very clean levels that we're all looking at, right? Because if I have a level here, John has a level there, Becky has a level over here, guess what? We're not looking at the same thing. So it makes it crappy, right? We all know, we all have this level. I guarantee you, every trader this morning has this 101, 111, and 55. We all have it. But when you don't have a clean chart, we're all going to have different levels in between here, and that's not good. So I'm going to put this one here, 112.71. And hopefully that, that seems to be the best level. Okay, that's good because we got some days here towards the top, so that's nice. And then between the highs and lows, the highs of yesterday and the day before, there's one candle sticking out here, 114.54. I'm going to mark that down as well. So moving pretty good right now. It looks like it wants to go red to green for the day. So we'll see what it does at this previous day close level here. We'll come back to it. All right, GS also starting to get going here. It's got not as much volume as JP Morgan, but it looks like it might be following suit. So I have the pre-market right now sitting at 215.78. So we'll mark that down. And then let's see what else we have towards the top. Okay, here we go. We got some days in here. Let's zoom into this area. Very nice clean level right here at 222.08. So you can clearly see that level of support, resistance, support, and then support again in these 2 days. So very good clean level at 202. Right now, pre-market action not as great. Daily chart looks okay. Looks like it might want to be breaking out of this area here. I'm gonna mark down this one here too, guys. 212.72. It's between the highs and the highs of 2 days ago, and also the low of the pre-market. So I'm gonna mark that one there, 212.72. All right. Next we have Tesla. Let's see what Tesla is up to. It's got a decent pre-market activity, not much volume, only 209, so not great. Has some volume here, seemed to have died down, so hopefully we can pick some of that volume up at the open. As far as levels, we have the previous day close up here and the high from yesterday. I'm gonna mark down the low of the pre-market, 247.97. You know what, we'll mark this one too. We'll mark the high of the pre-market, 252.55 high of the pre-market. If we can break out of that range one way or the other towards the bottom, 240 is a great level. You can see that being tested here and here. You have a moving average also within that area. So towards the bottom, you need to add any more. The gappers list is frozen, someone mentioned. Is it? We can oh, you're asking me if it's frozen. I'll check. Give me 1 second. CAPR. Let's go to CAPR. CAPR is at 581. Volume. Nope, it's not frozen because I see the volume here looks good. DPC, let's check that one. DPZ 152. Yeah, roughly it's a little slightly behind, but yeah, it looks good to me. Unless anybody else sees something, let me know. But it looks good to me. It's just pretty dead. And then if you go in here, Trade Ideas is very nice, guys. You can go in here and go back, look at historical data, look at days, and you always want to have it live always. So if you have that, it should be updating as we go here. So let's see if DPZ is doing some movements now. Let's see if, yeah, see, that's updating. It's just very dead. All right, let's go back to Tesla. So I was mentioning 240 looks like a great support here. You got a moving average. You also got some levels on the daily testing that. So I don't think you need to add any more. Maybe towards the top in case we can break out of that previous day close and high from yesterday. Seems like we have a level around 259.12. You can see that from this day here, this one here, and almost this one here. Not quite, but close enough. All right, next we have J&J. So let's see this one here. I like the daily on this one. I mean, the daily, I'm kind of bearish on it, but again, just no bias on this, guys, obviously, but it just looks like it wants to head lower. Low of the pre-market, 133.85. If it drops that, we definitely have a level here at the low of 2 days ago, around 132, slightly above it. Another level right here, 131.32, and then one down here at 129.79. So I don't see a clean level within this area here on the daily, so I'm not going to add anything. So in a situation like that, I'll look for whole dollars as my possible target area, right? So, 133 could be an area where I'll be looking out for. All right. Okay, so pre-market action, just to look at it real quick. Again, not much volume just yet. But again, this one doesn't have a lot of volume, as Kurt and Norm were mentioning earlier. It also is a nicey stock, so we'll see. This will be a good one if it hits our scanners. All right, so BPTH, guys, again, just horrible pre-market action, not worth watching. Only 158,000 shares traded. It is up 11.6, and if we remember, this float is, I think, 300,000, right? Oh, it changed. It was a lot lower than that, so it's now 2.7 million. Almost double the size here or more. But again, it's just not one to watch. I'm just gonna get rid of it. CAPR, all right, CAPR is also not doing much. Looks like it's just looking to sell off here. I do not have shares for short. Not as much volume as we had yesterday, not as much action, only down 6.1. If you are looking for this one today, again, trade it very careful. It looks like we might be putting in some kind of continuation today. Most likely it's going to sell off, but again, be careful in this area here, trading these low floats. IMRN is one that's been very active, 1.3 million shares traded. Here's where things get dangerous, guys. We see this often than not, right? You already had a nice pop. You already had a second nice pop here. Now it starts, kind of consolidating and being choppy here. A lot of traders, and me myself, I have got caught on this, right? We get caught on a possible breakout, an ABCD pattern. Next thing you know, boom, it drops 50 cents to $1. right? So don't chase the move. If you're not experienced in trading low flows, this is not the time to try it, right? Just stick to the mid and large flow stocks. You can make some really good money out of those. Do not give back weeks of profit trading this stuff here, okay? All right, so we'll see what happens. But right now, this is not looking pretty good because it's kind of losing some steam at the open. Maybe we'll get some volume. 736 high of the pre-market. Again, just a nasty daily chart as well, guys. Not really clean. 681 also there as a possible level. This is a nasty daily, so I'm just picking stuff that looks somewhat decent, but it's very nasty daily. 848, and then one more here around 611. But again, you can see how nasty this daily chart is. So be very careful. It looks like the ones we picked out turned out pretty good. 611 on the daily, you can see people are somewhat watching that. We also got 681. You can see it. You got some areas where people are watching that, and then you have your high, obviously, of 736. All right, folks, that is what we have. Again, some of the stuff here I'm going to remove. I just want to keep it on here to see how it's going to get as we get closer to the open. So let's just review what we did real quick. So DPZ, again, right now, still not great volume, but it is a nicey stock, and the daily looks really interesting. So we'll see what happens there. AMD looks like it's doing a little bounce here now. Also, this daily looks very great. It's hitting this moving average right here on the 5. I think that's the 200, if I'm not mistaken, on the 5. So we'll see what we get out of AMD. Volume is starting to pick up. QTT, again, it's got the volume, but it's not really trading very well. This pre-market action doesn't look great. Half of the volume sitting on here, as we mentioned earlier. So this might get dropped before the open. JB Hunt is also one that doesn't have great volume. It does have a nice pop today, and also just kind of left this resistance area here that's been testing over from between June and July. So hopefully we can get something out of that. MU's looking ugly, but that's normal for MU. JP Morgan, let's see what's going on here. So it did get above the previous day close. So it did go red to green for a bit here. Nice candle here heading back down. So this looks very active today. JP Morgan looks very, very active in the pre-market. Look at the volume, guys. Almost 70,000 in every 5-minute candle. That's exactly what you want to see. Sometimes you might have 970,000 shares traded, and the pre-market action looks like crap. This is actually good pre-market action, especially for a bank. Usually banks don't trade very well, and you can see that from the daily here. Goldman Sachs also coming up nicely towards the pre-market high here, so that'll be interesting. And Tesla heading back down, also putting in a decent pre-market action now. Look at this nice little flow we have going on here on Tesla. So this is good. It's getting some activity. Hopefully you can get this volume back up above 20. That'll be nice as well. And the last one, J&J, also seems to be getting going here, testing this low of the pre-market one more time, 133.86. Again, I'm very short bias on this stock, but I'm going to wait to see what the open is going to give us. All right, guys, that is all we have. Norm, anything that we missed that we should go over?
No, I think we've covered everything that I had on my plate.
Excellent. All right, so we got 2 more minutes. Let's look at a quick one here. OSTK, someone's mentioning this one in the chat. OSTK, be careful, guys. This one it trades very, very it reminds me of BYND, but just a lower price version of it. It could trade very erratic.
It's not super low float, but it's 26 million, and it trades a bit like a low float at times.
It does. Let's see what the ATR is on this OSTK.
$1.85, which is massive for a $17 stock.
And I thought it was actually going to be higher because I seen some of the action on this, and man, on these days where we had it on our watch list, this thing was all over the place. So you want to be very, very careful with that. What else? Somebody mentioned BYND.
Beyond the meat.
Yes, Beyond the Meat. It's been pretty quiet the last couple of days. Not much volume today. Let's see how it's been trading. Let's look at it yesterday, see how what it did here. I'm not sure if anybody watched it. Man, this is the stuff I'm talking about. Look at this, going from 168 to 170, and then right back down the next 5 minutes. It's just
the ATR's all the way down to $8.12, Carlos.
I can't believe it. Can't believe it. And that's probably, yeah, because it's been pretty choppy the last couple of days. But man, this one is a dangerous one, guys. Be very careful. It does seem very active today. The daily does look like it wants to break out, though. You kind of have a nice little flow here coming back up, holding this previous day close level around 165 or so. And you obviously got the room to go higher. Just be very careful with this stock today. Not much volume today, so I don't believe it's going to be in play. All right, last one, guys, before we shut it down, let's look at Citigroup. Citigroup is I don't like the pre-market activity. I don't like the way it traded yesterday, and again, that's because it doesn't trade well. Look at this daily here; it just does not trade very well. But not much going on this morning. Yeah, it was. I agree. It was very difficult to trade yesterday. I didn't touch it just because the price action was all over the place for me. Guys, thank you for joining us on YouTube. We will see you again tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern Time. Trade safe, guys, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Take care, guys. Thanks for joining us. Trade safe.